I want to welcome you back to the Starr Carter Personal Finance channel. On this channel, we talk personal finance. My name is Starr Carter, and I do appreciate you being here with me today. Again, guys, if you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you guys like the video, hit that thumbs up, and make sure that you leave me a comment and let me know how you feel about the topic today. If you know anybody that is impacted by this topic of today. So guys, let me know what you think. I do got a news video, so let's go ahead and let's jump into it.
To the economy now, where staggering numbers have been released surrounding Black women in the labor force. A new report shows more than 300,000 Black women have left the workforce in just the last several months. That's according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Joining me now is gender economist Katika Roy to break this all down and why they're leaving. Katika, thank you so much for being with us. You recently wrote an article where you say that this isn't happening by accident. Why do you think it is happening?
This is happening because of cuts to public sector positions. So if you look at the federal labor force, Black women make up just over 12% of the federal labor force. It's about double their representation in the labor force overall. And when you have targeted cuts up to 50% in organizations such as the Department of Education and HHS, you're not just trimming the fat, you're actually cutting the economic backbone for Black women.
Wow. And so what are some of the spillover effects from all of this?
Well, one of the things that we know is that there is a connection between women's labor force participation and GDP. So just Black women's labor force participation has dropped by just over 2% in the last 3 months. And that has sucked over $37 billion out of US GDP. So this is the economic cost of gender policy ignorance.
This is really fascinating because do you think that most people are unaware of the actual impacts of things like this?
Absolutely. So when we often think about women's issues or Black women's issues, we think of it as an over there problem. It's not. It's an everybody problem. When our economy grows, that has more jobs and more income for everyone. So we know, for instance, overall, that for every 1 percentage point that women leave the labor force, there's a $146 billion hit to GDP.
Oh my gosh. And so we've talked about the consequences, but is there an upside to all of this? Are we seeing women pivoting to entrepreneurship as they're leaving the workforce? What then are they doing?
You know, that's a great question. And the truth is, we don't know where all of the 300,000 Black women that have actually been pushed out of the labor force have gone. We know that some of them have gone into entrepreneurship, which is not only because of luxury, but it's actually because of survival. And this is really a testament to their resilience, but it also shows the rigidity in our traditional employment systems.
Are there any other groups that we are seeing largely impacted in this way in the labor workforce?
Not to this extent. So I track all of the data, as you can imagine, month over month by gender and race and ethnicity. And I started to see this trend about 3 months ago with this really precipitous drop in Black women out of the labor force. And this is a huge hit. And historically, just to give you a sense of the historical context, this is the first time in years that Black women's labor force participation has fallen below Latinas' labor force participation.
Wow. It's really fascinating to see these numbers, to hear you explain all of it and break down the real world impacts on our GDP and the economy at large. Katika Roy, thank you for what you do, and thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So guys, what's key to that piece that we just listened to from that news video is the terminology. The terminology. You heard the anchor lady saying left the workforce, right? She kept saying leaving and left, right? And the lady that she's interviewing, she said the right word at the very end. She caught herself. If you didn't hear, rewind it back. She caught herself. And she said she was about to say left, and then she said pushed out. pushed out. That's the right word for it. Pushed out. Not left, not quit, not technically laid off, but pushed out of the workforce. And what's amazing to me also is that she never said DEI, because we know that is where this stems from. This stems from the Trump administration when they came in January, and they was a DEI attack fest. DEI attack fest. And then people were making the TikToks and all. It's like, ha, the joke's on you, because white women also benefit from DEI. There's other sectors that also benefit from DEI. It's not just Black women. It's not just us. And that is true. That is very true. But why is it that Black women are the ones that are out of a job right now? Staggering numbers, right? And so, as she was saying, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the sharp loss of over 300,000 Black women from the labor force between February of this year and April of 2025 was driven significantly by the public sector reductions, especially federal workforce cuts, and the rollback of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, roles in private sector. Black women are disproportionately represented in both of these areas. They account around for about 12% of the federal workforce, compared to just 7% in the private sector. Thus, sweeping cuts in government agencies such as the Department of Education, Health and Human Services, or HUD had a disproportionately harsh effect on Black women. At the same time, many Black women held leadership roles in corporate DEI departments. As organizations scaled back these initiatives, those roles and those jobs tied to them disappeared. So we can't leave that part out. That part right there is necessary for us to know. This when Doge came in and started cutting everything. That's when all that happened. So-called draining the swamp, so-called what they was calling a lack of efficiency, of the government spending, right? All that kind of rhetoric, all the rhetoric that they had behind why they were doing these things, right? And it says that the sectors where Black women are traditionally overrepresented, hospitality, retail, education, and healthcare, are more vulnerable to economic fluctuations, making them particularly risky during downturns, right? And and somebody in the comments let me know exactly what the quote was, or whatever the statistics was, that Black women were the most educated or something like that. That came out, I don't know how many years ago, but it was a proven fact that Black women were the most educated at this particular time. And so, and like I said, I may not be saying it correctly, so you guys make sure in the comments that you let me know exactly what it is. But my thing is this: if you don't want us to hold certain positions, and some people may say, well, oh, the Trump had got rid of DEI because it's supposed to be merit based. You people handing you something, you supposed to be doing work for that or whatever, stuff like that. And my thing is this: when have Black people ever had anything just handed to them? We've always had to be the best, the smartest, the strongest, the whatever. We always had to do things 2 or 3 times, 10 times at some point better, just to be so-called equal to our counterparts, right? So when have we ever had anything given to us? Let's just take this for instance, right? Let's take it for instance, just women, period. Let's take this for instance. Okay, you got Donald Trump, who, yeah, he was the former president. He has no political background, no law background, nothing like that. You got Kamala Harris that was running up against him after Joe Biden backed out. You got a woman who has many accolades under her belt, a prosecutor, what is she? Was attorney general, all those different things that she had going on in the state of California. And then you got this guy that the only thing that he has is his whiteness. His dad gave him money. He fumbled the bag however many times he filed bankruptcy, and that's it. And he gets to become the president. And he's a felon. and he's probably on the Epstein files. You got all of that, and he gets to become the president when you got a woman over here and you got other women who are also overqualified that does not get the same treatment. And this is not bashing men. This is not bashing men. But I have heard some men on here that's talking about this in that manosphere red pill type of thing, talking about, well, if women stay, they place, and nobody told them to go work. They can be let the man provide and all that kind of stuff. Stop being delusional. There are men providers out there, but a lot of women are still single parents. A lot of women are still the head of their household. Do you not think I know there's some women that don't want to be married. There's some women that don't want children. They want to be career minded and all that kind of stuff. And all that's cool. That's cool. We're not talking about that. But there are women that, do you not think that when they had their children that they wanted to have a family? Now, it's some women that have their babies on their own and it's all good. But do you not think that a majority of the women that have been forced to be single parents did not want that with whoever they were with? And for whatever the circumstances is that did not happen? Soft life is not obtainable for every woman. It's not. And I don't want to hear nothing about choose better, choose better. We can say all those type of things. But we know when we meet people, we might get their representative before we know who the actual person is. And representation can go on for years before you actually know the person. So I don't want to hear all that right now, really. Okay. So it's a lot of things that, like I said, I've been seeing people trying to blame this on women, on Black women, and particularly that's the reason why, because of XYZ, you need to know your place and all that kind of stuff. And since you want to be independent and all that, that's BS. And y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, because at the end of the day, we have to take care of ourselves a lot of times and our children a lot of times. Okay. A lot of the ones that are spewing that rhetoric was raised by a single mother themselves. A lot of the Black men and some of the other men that's out here that's saying this crap with this manosphere BS, they was raised by a single parent. Okay, so it's very hypocritical in my standpoint. But to get back, I drift off because that stuff right there makes me mad. But I drift off. But at the same time, we have to understand that our voting really does matter. And it's not about the less of two evils. That right there get on your nerves as well. It's not about the less of two evils. It's about policy. It's about who is going to be better off for our economy. And right now, everybody voted based on, the Biden administration, they had 4 years and they didn't do nothing. So Trump, this and that. We got to understand that we have to use our critical thinking skills. I tell you guys this all the time, even in my other videos where I tell you about the scams and not getting trapped in buy now, pay laters and cash out borrows and all that other stuff that I done talked about on this channel, trying to make sure that you guys are financially literate and make sure that you're not making financial mistakes. It goes the same way. All of this stuff is hand in hand, like legit. All of it is hand in hand, right? And if we are just thinking about certain aspects, we're not thinking about the trickle down effect. We're not thinking about the trickle down effect. When people show you who they are, why do we not believe them the first time? Why do we not believe them the first time? We got to understand that Trump, when he first came into office in 2016, he came off of 8 years of Obama cleaning it up from the Bush era. From the housing market crash in 2008. We got to understand that it took Obama 2 terms to turn this ship around, right? And get us on the right course. And it took Trump 4 years to F it up. Right there in the pandemic. Like it wasn't nothing, right? And then you got Biden, same thing, had to come in and trying to clean it up. Trying to clean up the mess. a lot of times when the effect of another presidency, you may not see it until the next term of some of the policies and some of the things that they signed into law. Fortunately for us this time, we're seeing it in real time. We're seeing it almost in real time, like legit. We're seeing the effects of this guy being back in the office in real time. He told us on day one that he was going to get the prices cut. He was going to bring down the cost of groceries, and when eggs was extremely high and all kind of stuff, he said he was going to do all that. And Doge was supposed to be the reason why, because they was going to cut all this spending to all the waste, fraud, and abuse that was in the government, right? And therefore, you cut all these jobs. That's why you cut all these jobs. DEI. You got to get your positions on merit. Well, we know like the majority of his cabinet is a bunch of idiots, right? And so we got to understand that there are such thing as smoke and mirrors. There are such thing as smoke and mirrors. There are such thing as people just lying to your face. But you know what I say on this channel? If you are a regular viewer of my videos, you know what I say. I always tell you this. People lie. Numbers don't. That's like when he just fired this lady with the labor and statistics, because they had to come back and tell you what the real job numbers are, the real unemployment numbers are, right? What jobs actually got added, which jobs didn't get added. Let's come back, and fired her immediately, and then brought up some BS. And then brought up some BS charts saying, "Oh no, that's what she said is a lie. She was the part of the Biden people. That's a lie." You know, don't let people just play in your face when you see it. You see it in the grocery stores. I saw something on TikTok the other day where they were showing where people were comparing their receipts to 1 year ago and then in 2023, and how things have still continued to go up, and how prices are steady continuing to rise. And I'm pretty sure that I heard Kamala Harris say that she was going to make sure that price gouging was eliminated. We got this tariff talk all the time with Trump. And so therefore these companies, these retailers, and like Walmart is a superstore that dubs as a retail store and a grocery store, right? And supposed to be the low cost and low price, steady inching up on the prices. Steady inching up on the prices. Tariff talk, tariff this, 1 minute tariffs on, next minute tariffs off. 1 minute we giving China a break, next minute we gonna tariff China this amount. Next minute we giving China 90 days of probation. It's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. And so if people are really wanting to know the numbers, I had to look it up. And I just Googled, how was Black unemployment numbers under the Biden administration for his full term? And so it came up. Here's the data from January 2021 through mid 2025. Okay. So Black unemployment start to recent figures. So we got start of Biden's term in January 2021. Black unemployment stood at approximately 9.3% when President Biden took office in January 2021. This is coming off Trump's excuse me. This is coming off Trump's his term. So peak improvements was by March of 2023, Black unemployment dropped to a record low of 5%, with Black women's rate dipping even lower in that month, right? April of 2023 milestone, the Black unemployment rate hit the all-time low of 5%, further narrowing the long-standing employment gap with white workers. Later figures, by around December 2024, Black unemployment was at 5.7%, while the overall unemployment rate was 4.1%. As of July 2025, Black unemployment rose to about 7.2%, reflecting some downward pressure in the broader economy. So, to answer your question, Black people were more employed during the Biden era. We gotta understand the timeline, y'all. This dude has only been in office since January, and it is August. It is August. It is August. And you telling me that over 300,000 Black women have been pushed out of the workforce. Pushed out. And some of those women, as in the news article, may start a business of their own. This might be their opportunity. Some of them might have wanted to start a business, and this could have been their opportunity to do whatever it is that maybe they were doing on the side, or whatever passion project that they may have had that they just didn't want to leave their job to do it for whatever reason, and because they got pushed out, they got pushed maybe into their purpose. But then you got a lot of them that are probably really struggling right now, especially if they're in a single parent household. They're probably really struggling right now. And our savings rates are down. So a lot of people have not been able to save because of the cost of goods being so expensive. And so what we do when we're out of work, I was looking at some TikToks where there's some women that said they had been out of work more than 6 months already, right? And have put in hundreds of resumes and applied for jobs that they know they overqualified for just to get back into the workforce. And so when you think about that, delinquencies are going to go up. Foreclosures, credit card debt, charge-offs on credit cards, because people are going to be living off of their credit cards. People already are. I did a video, I want to say it was last year, or it might have been even 2023, where the statistic says that that the credit card debt was already in the trillions, right? And so when we have people that are incompetent in our government, and now we got this president that is going to as he say, he wants to clean up the crime in DC. But we know that DC is I want to say it's like 50% Black there. And the homeless got to go. And we know that the majority of the homeless population is Black there. And we know that a lot of the federal workers that got fired probably live in that DMV area. We know that. Don't have the numbers, but we know that a lot of them commute in that area of a lot of those cuts that directly affected some of the jobs in that particular area of the government, since that's where they're mostly housed. But we know that it was across the whole US. We know that those cuts, hit across the US. But I'm pretty sure to think that a lot of them, of that 300,000, probably live in that area. They're just, you let me know in the comments what you think. So my thing is, when we know this is going on, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because when somebody has lost their job and they don't see any prospects of getting another job, and their savings, if they have savings, is steady dwindling because they're having to use their savings against their spending. They're probably having even to tap into their 401k, whatever, retirement benefits. And of course, if you're not in that age, that's going to be a tax penalty when it comes time for tax season next year. And so for your 2025 taxes, so this is going to have a major trickling effect. It's going to have a major trickling effect. And I just want to know in the comments, what do you think is our solution to this? Other than, of course, making sure that we flip the House and all that, the Senate and all that stuff, and vote next year so that we could take back control of all this craziness that's going on. If we could take back control, we might can, get some stuff going to help the people that need it the most. When I did the video about wanting to cut to Section 8, see, when you think about all this stuff, you're taking away the jobs from the Black women that most of them run a lot of households. You want to take away as much assistance as possible. So if these women cannot afford to pay rent, but then you want to take away Section 8 that can give them housing assistance. But then you want to say, you want to tell the homeless to get the hell out. Like, where the homeless gonna go? But yet you can build prisons. You can build the whatever immigrant housing or whatever you're doing, concentration camps is what most people are calling them. You got money to do that, but you don't got money to build shelters for our homeless. I think Tupac said it the best. We got money for war, but can't feed the poor. Is one of those things where we have to look at these things really, really seriously. And I don't think we've been taking this joker serious. This is in my opinion. This is my opinion. I just don't think we've been taking this joker serious. So y'all let me know in the comments. I do want to something that I saw on an Ebony magazine article. Let me get a second to get that up on the screen. So Ebony, they also did an article about this. See, I don't see the title. Unlocking Insights. Why are so many Black women being pushed out of the workforce? Great that they use the right terminology, pushed out. And I'll leave this link if you all want to read this article. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to get down to where they said that enter the global state of women relief fund, a necessary and timely response to the quiet crisis so many of us are living through. And that's right there, quiet crisis. You don't hardly hear anybody talking about this. That's the other thing. This should be breaking news everywhere. Like, people, this should be breaking news. This should be breaking news. Like, this should be everywhere. Everybody should be outraged about this, and nobody's talking about it. It's like, what the. Y'all about to have me cussing on this channel. All right, so I'm gonna click on this link. I'm gonna have to share it again. Let's see. So this is the website, Global State of Women. So this is the website, Collective Relief Fund. Women are leaving the workforce at historic rates, with Black women disproportionately impacted. Forced, pushed, not leaving. When you leave something, that's voluntary, right? It's voluntary when you leave something. That's why I told you terminology is important. And whoever did this, they need to change that. It's not leaving. Pushed out. So you can donate, and you can also apply for relief. So in that Ebony article, it says that into the global state of women relief fund, a necessary and timely response to the quiet crisis so many of us are living through. This initiative is a collective call to action designed to provide tangible support for women navigating unemployment and underemployment through one-time cash grants ranging from $500 to $1,500. The fund offers direct assistance. The application process is straightforward, no jumping through hoops or essays involved. Most applicants receive a decision within 5 to 7 business days. And it says, beyond the financial aid, the fund also provides free career resources through its Patreon, offering guidance, skill building, and a sense of community in otherwise isolating job market. Recent government downsizing across agencies like the Department of Education and the Department of Health and Human Services is yet another significant moving part in the overarching issue. All right. So these institutions once offered a sense of stability and economic security to many Black women. Still, with budget freezes, reduced funding, and widespread restructuring, even though stable jobs are becoming increasingly out of reach. All right. And we know, I mean, come on, y'all. We know. It says from 2023 to 2025, DEI positions decreased by nearly 13%. I'm gonna go into link this into the description box, this article. And it also has a link to the application. Well, it had a link to the application. When I clicked on it, it gave me an error. But you see it's right here where it says apply for relief. I'm just gonna click on that. Show you guys the actual application. Because I don't want, I'm not saying that these people are scammers. I'm not saying that. But you do got to be careful in what information that you're putting in on these forms. Okay. So this, like I said, this is a straightforward Google form. So email, full name, email address, phone number, city and state. Are you currently the head of your household or primary caregiver? Are you currently experiencing hardship due to job loss, unemployment, or financial hardship in the last 90 days? What category best describes your current employment status? Laid off, furloughed, unemployed, underemployed, employed but not working to your full potential in terms of hours, skills, or income, employed but struggling financially, gig, contract worker, or other. Requested grant amount. This will help us distribute based on most immediate need. 500, 1,000, 1,500. What can this grant best support? Mortgage, rental, housing, food or groceries, childcare, keeping your health insurance. That's another thing. People lost jobs, they lost their benefits, medical expenses, mental health support, counseling, utilities or phone, well-being, activity, catch a breath, dinner with friends, spa day, massage, career coaching, other. How dire is your current situation? And you can rate this very high as number 1, very low is 5. Anything else you'd like to share? So you can put any other information in there. As an organization, we solicit information to better understand who we're serving. This is optional, but encouraged so that we may better serve you. So listing, your ethnic background, and gender identity in there, and then submit. And you can also send yourself a copy of this application. I will encourage you all, if you do need to fill out this application, to do not put in your social security number. Don't put in any type of stuff like that. Don't put in your social security number, your driving license number, all that kind of stuff. If they're giving you a grant, they don't need that. It's a possibility they might need to see your ID for whatever reason to verify you are you are who you say you are. Excuse me, y'all. But just be very mindful of the type of information that you provide. Okay. You just don't want your stuff out here all willy-nilly. Make sure your credit reports are froze. Make sure all those different things. I always tell you guys that anyway, to make sure that you're not a victim of identity theft. You don't know who and where they're storing your information. It could just be sitting on a regular computer and not on a protected encrypted server. So you don't know. So be careful about that. Also, if they're going to give you a grant, maybe possibly I don't know how they distributing the grants, but hopefully they're doing it in a means of a check that you won't have to give them your banking information. Okay. Because all that stuff is sensitive data and people can steal your stuff right up from underneath of you. Okay. And there are some bad actors. Like I said, I'm not saying these people are scams. I don't know who's running this, and I'm not finna put that out there, but I am going to say, just be careful if you do decide to apply for this relief. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. As you can see, my voice, when I get excited, if I get upset, this is what usually happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off here so that I can get me some tea. But I do appreciate you guys checking out this video today. And please leave me a comment and let me know, how do you feel about this? Okay. Also scan the QR code up there or go to my website, starrcarter.com, or down below in the description, and join the Credit Ready program. It is completely free. There's nothing in there that you have to pay for. It's not a hook. It's not a hook where I give you something free just so I can try to sell you something later. No, it is completely free. I'm going live this Sunday, August the 17th, and I'm gonna be doing live Q&A. Whatever you guys want to talk about within the group, we're going to talk about this Sunday, and I'm going to do lives like that every month. Now, there is a caveat. And the caveat is, if you don't join by December 31st of 2025, January the 1st of 2026, there will be a charge. But if you join before December 31st of 2025, or on December 31st of 2025, you will be in that group free forever. You will get all the perks forever. But once I turn on the monetization part of the group, then you will, if it's January 1st, you're going to have to pay. So I'm just letting you guys know. So I'm going to be telling you this on every video going forward, all the way up to the end of this year, to join the Credit Ready program. Make sure you scan the code over here or visit starrcarter.com or look down in the description box so that you can get the information. It's on the school app. So it's an app that you actually can download. There's also a chat feature. That's all kind of resources. I created a course, a 6-week course, but you can take it at your own pace, that actually will take you from start to finish with your finances, to help you get out of debt, help you build a mercy fund, and help you also whatever endeavor that you want to do. If you're trying to look for financial freedom, all of that kind of stuff, it's a whole module with a lot of PDFs and other types of resources that's in there. I also have different links, because different group things that we've done and past videos that we've done, because I had to take a hiatus from the group. But all those free resources are in there. So if you join now, you can take advantage of those free resources. And also you can be a part of the first live this Sunday on August the 17th. And again, if you see this video after August the 17th, you will still be able to join whenever you join. But if it's after January, when you see this video, it is not free anymore. So make sure that you guys go ahead and take an advantage of it being free, and you can be in there free for life if you join now. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. As I say, my voice is going out. So I don't want to continue to mess it up. I gotta give me some lemon ginger tea. So guys, thank you again for joining in. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. I do want to hear from you all. And if you do need to email me about anything, just go to starrcarter.com and fill out the contact form, and I will get back with you. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day.